everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah, and in today's video we are going to be market prepping together. And I want to start off by apologizing for the chaos on my desk, but also I'm feeling chaotic, so this is where we're at. I'm currently working on what I wanted to be my last batch of sea turtles, these blue guys right here, but I actually think it won't be my last batch. And I do have a very good reason for this, and it's because when I put these guys out on my table, I'll just be putting out one of each color. So in reality, there'll only be 6 on the table at a time, and I know I can at the very least fit 8, if not more, on the table all at once. So my plan is to make 2 more groups of 5, but I haven't fully decided what those colors will be yet, and I may end up taking a break from the turtles as well and working on something else and then coming back to them to finish them. We'll see. I really want to make axolotls in this video because I know they'll work up pretty quickly, and I know that I'll have a lot of fun making them, so I would like that to be a goal. I'm also the type of person who loves finishing things once they're started, and setting things aside to work on something else isn't really my strong suit. I don't know. We'll see. I also have not yet embroidered the eyes on my larger blanket turtles yet, so I'm going to be doing that shortly here as well. I have 1 finished, which you can see, and then 3 that need their eyes. So I'm planning on doing the eye embroidery all at once. I'm going to finish the blue ones, and then embroider the eyes on the green ones, and then the blue ones. And then those guys will be officially finished, but I'm not going to count the blanket turtles as finished in this video because I already counted them as finished in my last market vlog. I was technically supposed to have them finished a couple days ago, but I was editing and I also have just been busy. So I don't have a very good excuse for it other than I just didn't want to embroider eyes yet. I forgot to mention in the beginning of this video, but I've been trying to do a slightly different intro where if anyone is new here, you'll at least get a general idea of what I'm working towards. So this should have been earlier, but I'm just going to say it now. I'm working towards a 3-day festival that draws in about 100,000 plus people. The festival is in mid-April and it is currently the 4th, I think. So I have about 3.5 months to prep for this festival, which is kind of scary to say out loud. And I currently have over 15,000 in inventory. I believe it's like 15,200 something. And my end goal is to make 30,000 in inventory. Now, I mentioned in my last video, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. So my first goal is 25,000 instead. If I can hit 25,000, then I will be happy, but I would have loved to hit 30K. So we're gonna try our best. We're gonna keep working towards it as much as possible. I'm also working on a lot of things, you know, pattern releases, new designs, YouTube tutorials, responding to comments, tags, and mentions, which I put that in a category because it does take a while. I just finished replying to comments on my 2025 recap, and that video has had more comments than any of my other videos this year, except for maybe like things that I posted a while ago. Anyways, sidetracked here. I appreciate all of you so much, and thank you for leaving so many sweet comments. It may have taken me a couple hours to reply to everyone, but hey, I will take it. I can't believe how many people I've helped without even realizing it. I don't even have the right words. I'm really speechless. All I can say is thank you, and I truly mean that, because I literally wouldn't be here without every single one of you watching and being so sweet and awesome, just leaving comments, whether you've purchased a pattern or not, or just simply watched my tutorials. All of those things are so amazing, and I'm glad I'm worth your time because I know how precious time is. Thank you. Usually I kind of save that towards the end of the video, but for some reason I just wanted to talk about it now. It's probably because I just replied to those comments, but you all are so sweet. Thank you for being here. Okay, we're gonna get back on track here. The goal in today's video is to finish the little sea turtles, so the medium sea turtles. These guys are a free tutorial on my channel and a written pattern in my coffee shop, so you can check that out if you want, if you haven't already. I've had a lot of comments of people saying that the sea turtles are one of their best sellers, which I'm so glad. For me, the medium ones sold out and the larger ones didn't, and I just think that was my color choices more than anything else. The bigger sea turtles are also a free tutorial on my channel, and probably should mention that as well. In my last video, I completely forgot to mention where these patterns came from, so I just kind of threw them on the screen. Don't worry, I remembered this time. I have to remind myself that sometimes there are new people watching my videos, so I can't just act like you all know everything. Oh, one final thing. I know I've talked so much right now, but I'm trying to post every day on Instagram, and so far I'm 3 days in and I've been successful. I have myself a mini challenge And if I can't post every day, you know what, that's fine, but I'm still gonna give it my best shot. I also mentioned that I'm gonna be switching up my photos a bit so that they're not all yarn wall photos. I will still be posting yarn wall photos, I promise. Probably at least 50% of them will be yarn wall photos because I am not that creative, okay? And I find something that works, that's what I'm gonna use. I will check in with you all in a little bit, let you know what I'm working on. I'll just check in with you then. Yesterday I was quite productive and I actually finished all the blue sea turtles. So I have 5 of these guys made. I used this blue for the shell, which I kind of showed in my last video. I mentioned the lighter blue. Okay, I think the dog has officially stopped barking. Our dog has been a little on edge all day, so he hears the tiniest thing and he just needs to bark. But I think he's finished, so that's good. I showed you the blue turtles, and here are the 6 that will be on the table at one point in time. And my concern with this is that I could really have more colors on the table all at once. So I think I'm going to work on 2 more colors officially this time, and I haven't fully decided on what those colors will be yet. I want to add 2 more colors that will make this prettier as well. I mean, it's already pretty, yes, but like add to it and not just kind of mix it up and muddle it. I think that's probably the right word. Right this second though, I'm going to be focusing on a slightly different thing because I need to film a video for this weekend and I need to make a plushie for that. So I'm going to be making there he goes again. I'm going to be making a Bailey unicorn for a tutorial. I'll show you the colors I picked out in just a second, but first, I also finished these larger green turtles and embroidered all their eyes. So they are all finished. I have a total of 4, and then with the other colors I have on hand, I have a total of 14, I believe. So that's a good number for larger turtles. I probably won't make any more just because I had a harder time selling them over the medium turtles. These guys are going to be finished. That's all I'm going to be making for them. But I will work on 10 more medium turtles eventually. But first, I'm going to make the Bailey unicorn. I decided to use the pink Naughty Pony yarn as the base of this unicorn. And then I'm going to be using this, I think this is bubblegum? Yes, the bubblegum Parfait plush as the secondary color. So I'm going to do the horns, not the horns. I'm going to be doing everything but the horn out of this color. For the horn, I want to make out of this color. At least we'll see how it looks. I think it'll be really pretty with the white and then the speckling. I think it'll be really pretty, so we're gonna give that a try as well. And then I also have the eyes from Sweet Beans Crochet. These are, I don't know how well these are gonna look with the lighting, kind of backlit, which is my fault, but these are 20mm eyes from Sweet Beans Crochet, and they are pink and they have little sparkles in them. I'll get you a glamour shot when this unicorn is finished, but I think it will go nicely on that light pink. But that is the plan. I'm going to be working on this today, getting it to a point where I can start filming a crochet foundations on it. I had somebody ask if I was still planning to do a crochet foundations on crocheting the limbs on as you work, and I am. I just kind of forgot. The first thing is that I kind of forgot. Seeing as I don't have any plans this weekend for any videos, I'll just do this crochet foundations. It will hopefully be easy for me to film. I really want to make this pattern because I posted a Skein Chanel version on my Instagram the other day, one that I made I think a couple months ago. When I post certain things I haven't made in a while, I'm immediately like, I really want to crochet that. I should totally make one. Now I have a good reason to make this one, so that is what I will do. Also want to talk about something real fast. I had somebody ask about how I stay motivated crocheting so many of the same thing. There's a few things that I do to keep it from being the worst experience ever. The first thing isn't really something that I do. It's just kind of my personality where I really enjoy seeing plushies finished. I've talked about this before where I like to see things done. I don't like the process as much, but seeing things finished is the best thing for me. And not everyone thinks this way, which is totally fine. Some people enjoy the process and some people don't like finishing things because it's not turning out the way they wanted or whatever the reason is, which I feel like everyone has a little bit of that in them, but there's more in some people. But there's a couple things that I do to make sure that I finish a bunch of plushies, and the first thing that I do is I do the method where you make a bunch of the same pieces. Pretty much I make, for example, sea turtles. I make all of the heads that I want to make. So if I'm making, 5 turtles, then I'll make 5 heads. And then I'll make 5 tails and then the groups of fins. Normally I will start with the shell though, because I can just use that one color I need for the shell. and make all 5 shells. Now this does a couple of things and it really just traps you, so if you end up crocheting 5 shells, you kind of have no choice but to finish them at that point. So that's the way I like to do it, where I make those 5 shells and now it's like, okay, I had to finish these 5 turtles, even if at one point I might not want to, or if it gets really boring, but I've already started. I found personally that if I make 1 turtle from start to finish and go to the 2nd turtle start to finish, by the 3rd one I'm usually tapped out and I don't want to do it anymore. But if you break it up into groups where you do the 5 shells, 5 heads, 5 tails, in my experience at least, it's a little bit easier to not get burnt out. But I will say that I do still get burnt out. For example, when I made those cream and gold unicorns, I made I think 10 of them total. I was very burnt out by the time I was finished with those. So sometimes it's just you need to switch out the colors. Sometimes if you switch the colors, it can be a little bit more enjoyable. But the other thing though is that I have a hard time remembering maybe like 3 patterns at one time, I would say, is where my brain capacity stops. So when I start market prepping a specific item, and if I try and go switch around to a bunch of different things, I start like forgetting the patterns and I have to go look. So that's another motivation for me, is to just focus on one so I don't have to be checking the pattern when I come back to it later. That's some of the advice that I have for market prepping lots of items. The other thing though I would like to say is that if you don't enjoy making the same thing over and over again, you can find success not doing that just as much as you can doing it. Hopefully that made sense. So if you want to make unique items and avoid making things over and over again, that's completely fine too. I'm absolutely certain you can find success in that. And I could argue that unique items are better than making the same thing over and over again. You don't need to do things that you don't like doing, especially when you're making plushies, because people love plushies. You can make the weirdest looking plushies or the strangest looking plushies, most unique, whatever descriptor you want to use, and somebody will want it. I can promise you that. That's my advice on the matter. Hopefully that was helpful. If you are making plushies like I am, I would say don't take it too seriously, because people will want them. People absolutely adore plushies. I'm going to work on this unicorn. I'll keep you updated on it, of course, and updated on the Crochet Foundations episode, let you all know all that stuff. But that is it for now, and I'll check in with you on all of this eventually. Here's how far I got with my unicorn yesterday. It is so close to being finished. It just needs its mane. I could have finished this yesterday, but I ended up being busy, which is super annoying, but you know what? At least it's almost finished. So I'm going to finish the mane today. I already started it. It's looking super cute. I do want to note that I added 2 extra curls to my tail. Usually the pattern calls for 3, but I decided to do 5. I just wanted to make this guy have a little bit more of a full mane and tail. So I may add more to the mane as well, but we'll see. For now, this is what he's looking like. And here are the eyes from Sweet Beans Crochet. They have little pieces of glitter in them. They're super cute. Perfect for a unicorn. And also, I'm sorry for the chaos stack here. I'm gonna fix that next time I talk to you. So I'll update you in a little bit when the unicorn is finished. As you can probably tell, I decided to mix things up today and work on some axolotls. I ended up making 5 pink ones, 2 yellow and orange ones, and I am working on 3 more yellow and orange ones, so there will be 5 of each color. These guys are looking so cute though. I will admit that I accidentally messed up on the first 3 pink ones because I moved the legs. Here you can kind of tell. It's barely noticeable, thankfully, but the bottom leg here is supposed to be 1 stitch in, so it gives more of this look than this look. Hopefully there's a difference. Otherwise, I don't know why I'm showing it to you. But 3 of them are messed up, but like I said, it's really hardly noticeable, so they're all perfectly fine. For these guys, I used Naughty Pony and then the Parfait Plush Premier Yarn in Bubblegum. I absolutely love this color. I used a full skein to make the turtle shells, the gills on these axolotls, and then the Bailey unicorn as well. So it lasted for quite a few projects. And then for the yellow and orange ones, I'm just using Sweet Snuggles Light. I have no idea what the color names are because I really don't pay attention. Probably should, but these guys are super cute and absolutely love the yellow and orange combo. That is my update for now. This evening I need to pick testers for my Highland cow and notify them. I haven't done any of that. I've been slacking on the computer stuff and obviously crocheting all day because I finished 7 going on 8, almost finished the 8th axolotl. So they also, in my defense, they don't take that long to make. They probably take me about 50 minutes to make, and that's if I'm distracted, so I'm always distracted. They definitely take the full 50 minutes. I think they're super cute, obviously worth the effort. I was originally charging $25 for these, but these guys are pretty small. I don't know what it is this time, tension, whatever, but they are a little bit smaller. I haven't fully decided if I'll leave it at the $25 price. Part of the way that I calculate prices is based on how long it took me, and then also how complicated it is. So like sewing, if I have to sew a bunch of things on, I'm going to be charging a little bit more. For the sea turtles, I charge $25, these medium ones that is, and that's because there's no sewing involved, so they work up pretty quickly. But I also want to pay attention to the size difference because most regular people who don't crochet don't necessarily realize that something that's smaller might take longer. So I just kind of take that into account and adjust. I think the axolotl is probably a little bit smaller than the turtle, but I don't know, maybe they're about the same size. I'm gonna think about the pricing on these. See, the ideal world would probably be like $22, but $22 is complicated to deal with when you are taking money at events, especially busy ones. So I might just keep these at $25, and then if they don't sell well on day 1, I might just reduce their price and see how that goes. But for now, I'll just count them as $25 and adjust when I get closer to the festival and when I torture myself and go through and tag everything all at once instead of as I go. That is the plan. That's the update. I'm going to work on that Highland cow tester call now and get those testers picked. So that is the update for now. I will probably check in with you next tomorrow morning. So that is the plan at least. I put the sea turtle stack back together and so far it's staying pretty balanced. But I'm gonna actually lower you guys a little bit, so hold on. Today I worked on axolotls, of course. So I ended up finishing the yellow and orange ones. I have a total of 5 now, and some of them are minorly different in size. I used the exact same ball of yarn, I guess was more tense with some of them while crocheting. But you know what, it's fine because only one of these guys would be on the table at a time. Also, Naughty Pony works up a tiny bit smaller, so that's why these pink ones are a tiny bit smaller, but I don't mind too much. It should be fine. I also started working on the purple ones today because it was just the color I grabbed next. And I finished all of the bodies. I just have to add the gills. These guys don't stack nearly as well as the turtles also. I made all 5 of the bodies, which normally I would actually just finish each of these. I know earlier I gave advice to work in parts like a factory instead of finishing one thing over and over again. But with these axolotls, I just enjoy seeing them done. That it only takes like 20 minutes or so to add the gills that I just add them. Spent all day crocheting pretty much. Didn't get much else done in any other thing that I probably could have done but didn't. I have to edit a video shortly, but it's pretty early in the week, so I'll probably edit that on Friday and get it out on Sunday, which has been my new release day. And I've been pretty consistent at it for a while, so that feels nice. Have to run some errands tomorrow though, so that's why I said I'll edit Friday. Today's Wednesday, so I'm gonna be out pretty much all day tomorrow. I was going to bring these axolotls and finish their gills on the road, but the issue is that I don't want to bring a big bundle of stuff to work on, so I'm probably going to switch it up tomorrow and work on something different, entirely different, non-sea creature related. I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet because I might not even make anything. So I might just go back to making sea turtles and finish the last 2 colors because that's something I can pretty easily work on the road. Eventually I will need to start working on another pattern because my goal is to release 2 written patterns a month. I almost said a week. That would be insane. I want to release at least 2 patterns a month, which I think is doable. I have quite a few plans actually. I just need to get working on them. I want to work on my extra large kitty pattern, and then I also have the mini Buttercup the Bee, which I talked about in my last video. That pattern needs to be finalized as well and tested. So I'm a little bit torn on what I want to actually do for this next pattern release in the middle of January, but it will be something. Right now I'm just waiting on some safety eyes to arrive from Sweet Beans Crochet. I'm also going to get some from Traveling Pony Studios soon when she's not nearly as busy, because I know that she's busy. But my Sweet Beans Crochet eyes, they should get here, I'm hoping by the end of this week actually. They've been shipped for a while, or they were shipped out a while ago. So I'm hoping they'll be here soon, and then once I get those I can definitely start working on another extra large kitty, because really where I'm at right now is the amount of painted eyes that I need for that pattern. All the colors I have right now aren't really cat-like, so between all the colors that I ordered from Sweet Beans Crochet I should have plenty of colors to choose from. That is the update for now. I really don't have anything else to talk about right now, so I'll just probably update you tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning. We'll see. Here's my progress so far. I will check in with you all later and crochet this correctly. Yesterday I ended up finishing all the purple axolotls. I could have done it 2 days ago, but I just didn't end up having the time, so here we are. They're done now. So I have a total of 15 axolotls, and I want to make at least 10 more, so blue one and then a green one. But then I'm thinking I might also need some other colors, but I'm going to decide that in the future. What I want to show you, I actually have a couple things to show you. First thing is that I started working on some more sea turtles, so this is going to be the last set of sea turtles that I do. I have 2 different shades of the shell, but the cream base is the same color. Hopefully you can hear me over the bag crinkles, I'm sorry. So I ended up making, I'll pick that up in a second, I ended up making these shells. These ones are a Burnett Blanket Mystical, this guy right here. So I ended up getting this yesterday while I was out, and I really only went into Michael's for this one item, and to be fully honest, I came out with more than this. But I'll talk with you all about the yarn haul in a second, and I'll give you my reasoning for why I bought more yarn. I have a very good reason, okay? Back to the turtles though, I did also make these shells because I wanted to do like a full beige theme for the turtles, but I decided that I might go a different route. I'm thinking, this is yarn that I already had. I kept this Burnett blanket when I sold it a while ago. I'm thinking of remaking the beige shells out of this instead and doing slightly less beige, more colorful. And I think this will be really pretty as a sea turtle with a cream base. So I know these shells are already made, but I think it'll be worth it to use this instead. So it's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I'll save these shells. I might end up taking them apart. I don't know if it'll be worth it with this yarn, or I might just finish them closer to my event and bring them with me too. But I just really think that these will look a whole lot prettier, especially on the table. That's the turtle update. I'm working on one final set of green and cream, and then an orangey pinky color for the second set. In total, I'll have 8 colors for the turtles and then 40 turtles, which is plenty. So once these guys are done, I will stop there, unless in the future I want to finish those other shells. That's what I'm going to be working on today. Hopefully finish the turtles. At least these green ones I think I should be able to finish. Let me move them out of the way and I'll do a little mini yarn haul with you. So last time I went into my Michaels, I ended up getting some Skinny Chanel because I noticed a lot of it was clearanced out, and I was like, why did they do this to me? But that's okay. At least we got some yarn for $5. You know, we gotta take the wins when we can. Yesterday I went in and I grabbed Baby Bear because it's back in stock for my store and I had to get some. Baby Bear is the better version of Posh Pearl. And if I have been saying Cozy Cub instead of Baby Bear in any of my videos, just know I can't read yarn labels. I just use the yarn is pretty much what happens. But I ended up getting quite a few Baby Bears. Now this is a good thing because I'm going to be using this yarn to make more Snuggler patterns. So, you know, in the end it'll mean that you guys get some fun patterns from me too. Even though I grabbed quite a few. I will admit, I grabbed quite a few. There we go. So I grabbed quite a few yarns, just kind of colors that I knew I would use in the future. I used these two for my mini bees for my minis bin. So I just wanted to have that yarn on hand in case in the future Baby Bear decides to disappear like a lot of my favorite yarns have happened to do recently. I grabbed these colors for that, plus I could perhaps design a giraffe snuggler. That could be cute. Or something else yellow. A bee snuggler could be cute too, actually. And then I grabbed a bunch of greens because the greens are such a pretty shade. I grabbed 3 different shades of greens and I immediately thought that I need to make a dino. So I'm probably going to work on something like that. The problem with the dino snuggler is that dinosaurs don't have a lot of details. Like with the dragon, you have the wings, the ears, the horns, all the other details, but the dino, you kind of just have a very basic shape. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do that. I really want to design some dino patterns this year, so hopefully I can get to that. I also grabbed some pink just because I was out pretty much, and then a couple of the other shades that I didn't have on hand. I wasn't planning on buying any yarn except for that mystical yesterday, but when I saw they had Baby Bear, I had to get some. I'm just gonna work on these 3 turtles. Like I said, I have a video to edit, but I'm not doing that right now because I'm busy. I'm feeling very crochet inspired, so I'm just trying to work on crochet stuff while I have that gumption. That is all I have for you for now. I'm expecting some safety eyes, so exciting. And when those come, I'll do a safety eye haul with you. I'm so excited for those to come. But that's just a little teaser for when they actually get here. So I'll check in with you then. I have lots of exciting news for you. So we'll start with the crochet related one first. I mean, technically all of them are crochet related, but this one is literally crochet. It's turtle update. So I ended up finishing all 5 green ones, and I have just 2 left to make of this color right here. Super pretty. These turn out so cute. Also, obviously need to embroider their eyes, but I'm going to do that. Probably going to end up doing that tomorrow. We'll see. The other update I have for you is actually the safety eye haul. I think I hinted at it already. I just received them today, and I will admit I ordered a lot of eyes. These safety eye bags can give you a little bit of a hint as to what's to come, but I ended up ordering quite a lot, and I did put them in different containers at this point because I ordered so many that they were kind of falling out of their packaging. They shipped really well though. I actually didn't have any issues with them, but I put them in these jewelry boxes that I just had on hand. In box number 1, we have these eyes right here. Shades of blue and some green. So what I did was I took the cotton that came in the boxes. These are just extra we had lying around because my mom had a jewelry business. She doesn't really do that very much anymore, but she had these boxes spare and she gave them to me. So now these guys are nice and secure and safe in here. But here are the blue ones. So pretty. And green ones technically. Here we have box number 2, which is the first box I put together. That's why there's only 4 sets reds, pinks, brown, and purple. Next box are 25 millimeters. I just ordered these guys, but she gave me some freebies. So thank you so much, Robin, for the freebies. All of the eyes are stunning, but these eyes are particularly gorgeous. I am in love with all of them. I mean, obviously, I have a painted eye obsession, as you already know. Next box right here, orange, and then I also have some blue and pink shades. These are also freebies, so they have different kinds of glitter in them. This one's a flower. They're also pretty though. So I was actually ordered through her website and grabbed her actual sets, and then she sent me some freebies with some interesting stuff. They're very gorgeous. And it's finally time for the last box. These guys right here. Whites, yellows, and pinks. They're so pretty. I have quite a lot of plans to make some larger patterns. I want to make the extra large kitty. I want to go back to that. So I have yellow eyes for that, orange eyes, green eyes, all the eyes on hand. And I'm just very excited to work with these. So that was the second major update. I also labeled them so that hopefully I won't mix them up with Traveling Pony Studios eyes. I thought I had the hang of it, but I just forget. I just forget whose is whose. I had to go back and review footage, and sometimes I don't say out loud which eyes came from who. Hopefully this will help me keep better track, plus showing you all of them for myself to come back and watch them if I happen to forget. They're all so pretty. So gorgeous. I cannot wait to work with these. And I did order some from Traveling Pony Studios, not officially yet, but I'm getting some 40 millimeters for a secret project I'm not going to tell you all about yet. I'm going to start working on it, and then I will let you all know what I end up doing with those, because I just don't want the pressure of having to finish it right now. But that is actually it. I'm gonna stop talking now. I have to go, and I will check in with you later. I have a couple of things to update you on, of course, that's why I'm filming. None of them really have to do with turtles, because I did update you last night, but I do want to finish these last two turtles today, which shouldn't be too difficult considering I just need to crochet them together. And after I do that, I am going to embroider the eyes on all of the cream ones, so I can officially cross them off the list of turtles in general. Cross them off the list. I may end up making more turtles, but I feel like 40 is plenty on top of having 8 different color options on the table. I think that is plenty. I'll probably just leave it at this, but I have some other updates. The first one is that I released a crochet foundation today on crocheting limbs in. The reason I made this Bailey right here. So crocheting limbs while you work on the body. And I showed 2 different types. The first one where you crochet through 3 layers, and then in the other version where you just crochet through 2, so where you crocheted the limb shut and then joined it. Both pretty similar, except the limbs where you crochet it shut technically has a right side and a wrong side, so that's a little bit different there. That tutorial is out now. It's a really quick crochet foundation, so if you're just not sure how to join limbs and you kind of just been guessing, that's just a good little tutorial if you just want to watch it through. If you haven't watched it through, I would really appreciate it if you did. Crochet foundations on my channel happens to be one of my least watched series, just because it's not the most exciting bit of stuff, but some of the things in there are exciting in my opinion. So if you haven't checked them out, I recommend you do. The ones that I recommend checking out are the magic ring episode, because that one I show how to do the magic ring with a size 4 yarn. The best technique ever. I use it on any yarn size above size 5. The sewing tutorial I just recently released, that one is how you sew things to a plushie and get a really seamless or like just neat look when you join them. I have it on embroidering eyes, sinking in the eyes, so face shaping. I have it on placing your eyes evenly, so tips on how to get your eyes to always look right. Just a lot of good information. 14 episodes are out now. And if you do have any suggestions for the crochet foundations, I would love to hear them, because I'm always kind of running out of ideas. So if you all have any specific ideas for them, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear them in the comments below. With that out of the way, finally, my last bit of exciting news is that I'm going to be working on a pattern. I started designing this pattern last year, and so it's officially going to be worked on again and ready to go for an actual written pattern. I'm going to be working on this kitty pattern. I did mention the mini version of Buttercup the Bee, and I do want to work on that. This one is pretty much ready to go. I just need to make a couple more to get pattern photos and everything. I think I might just focus on this one because in the end it will work up faster. The mini version of Buttercup, I talked about making it more low-sew, so I want to give enough time that I can work on that. The other reason is I just received my 30mm eyes from Sweet Beans Crochet, which means I can just make all the kitties I want now, so obviously I have to do that. This is what I'll work on next. Probably have a tester call up. See, I want it to be by the 15th, but that is in 4 days, so I don't know if that's gonna be possible, but the first thing I'm gonna do today is finish the sea turtles, just so that they are done. And then I will work on the kitty again and get it ready for pattern photos, pattern testing, all that stuff. That is the plan for today. On a less exciting note, I did want to talk about the Yarny Awards for a moment because I did talk about it earlier. I did not win in my category, unfortunately. I appreciate every one of you who voted for me, who nominated me, because in reality, that's all I need. All I need is all the kind, supportive people, those of you who are watching my videos to the end, who are leaving comments, who are supporting me in any way you can, and I don't need anything else. I really don't need anything else, so I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, and that is about it. For this update, at least. I need to, like I said, work on these sea turtles, get them finished, and then I'll move on to the extra large kitty, but I'll just keep you all updated and let you know where it goes from here. Yesterday I finished all of the turtles, so I have a total of 40, which is a crazy number, I will be honest. 5 of each, 8 different colors. It's perfect. I probably don't need to make any more, and I probably won't. I finished all the cream colored ones. You can't really see them very well right now. I am going to do something epic with them in a minute. What I really need to do today is clean up my space a little bit. I'm gonna pick up my yarn shelves. They are a hot mess. They need some serious help. And then I will also just put all my yarn back on the shelves because I have a lot of things that were taken off because I was using them or whatever. So we're just going to fix it up and make it look nicer in here. I also wanted to update you on this kitty, which I probably should have updated you about first. But here it is with these gorgeous eyes. These are the ones from Sweet Beans Crochet. I decided to go with the lighter shade and I think it's so cute. And then I also have almost all the feet finished. Cute little toe beans. So once I get this guy finished, I am going to be making another one for pattern photos. I was actually just kind of seeing what this pattern would look like in a slightly different yarn type. For this orange yarn, I used some pretty stiff yarn from Sweet Snuggles Light, so it worked up a little bit longer. And here you can see this is the exact same instructions, but this one's a little bit shorter. So I will be adding 1 extra round to the pattern, and then that will be the official pattern. So it'll be perfect. It'll work out, but this guy is super cute, so I'm just kind of doing the exact same thing with this guy. And it seems to be working up really nice. So let's get cleaning, and then I'll update you more on crochet later. If anyone knows of a good way to use hot pink yarn and maybe this color yarn, I'd love to hear it. I also have a lot of variegated colors, but I'm thinking dinos. Those would be cute. I don't know. The yarn shelf looks a whole lot better now. Everything has a place. In fact, there's a little bit of a loose space in a couple of these shelves, but that is okay. I just remember when I bought all this yarn and there was no space for it at all. So obviously I've used quite a bit since I purchased the yarn, but still have lots to go through. Also plan on ordering a little bit more of this green yarn here because I have a really cool plan for this color specifically. So I will be ordering some more of that, and then I also probably will end up ordering a little bit more of this color in the future just because Skinny Chanel Sweet Snuggles Light doesn't come in this shade. I may end up making another order to premiere. This yarn texture doesn't look the greatest, but it works up really well, so it's okay. It's a risk I'll take. Here's what the shelf is looking like. Much more put together, and I feel a little bit better too. I also cleaned up other areas of my space, so everything is just looking a lot nicer now. Let me show you my sea turtle army real quick. I kind of laid them all out. I'm trying to do TikTok, but I have such a hard time filming. Hold on, let me show you. When I said I had a hard time filming, I mean I have a hard time filming in vertical format and not horizontal, which is YouTube. Here's all the turtles all laid out. I'm probably gonna stack them back up for a little while until I finish with this video, because I think there's something wrong with me today. I can't talk. I'm dropping things. Anyways, hopefully now that my room is clean, that will be less of an issue. But what was I saying? I'm gonna stack these guys back up, is what I was saying, because I want to film another one of those shorts I've been making where I show you all what I've been working on over the last few weeks, kind of in like a condensed short form content. So that is the plan for these guys. Show off all these turtles. And also the kitty I'm working on, but I haven't done anything obviously because I've been cleaning. So I will check in with you all soon. I kind of have to get going, and then once I have an update for you, I'll just check in as usual. Here's the state of my desk right now. It's a little chaotic. And by a little, I mean a lot. But I just love seeing all of them together. Eventually they're gonna have to go hang out in a bin somewhere though, because I need space for more plushies. But what I want to show you, I have two things I want to do this morning. First thing I'm gonna show you though is this finished kitty cat. Look at how cute she turned out. I think this one turned out better than the orange one, I have to say. There's just something about it. All the stitches sit a lot better than it did with the orange one, and I just think it worked up really nicely. So this is this guy finished with the toe beans and these gorgeous eyes. Absolutely perfect. I am going to work on that pattern over the next couple of days. I want to make one more in white with blue eyes for pattern photos. At least that's what I'm thinking for now. Those guys are cute. They're finished. The other thing I need to do is I need to work on another Highland cow snuggler. I need to do this because I would like to have new photos for pattern release day, which will be the 18th. This video will be out after release day if I remember correctly, so, or maybe the same time now that I think about it. I kept these colors and similar colors to this, specifically this one, because I was thinking of making a blanket out of it, but I just think this is the perfect Highland cow color. Plus, with the variegated yarn, I think I'm gonna do hooves, nose, and maybe the curls out of this color, and I think it'll be really pretty. I'm gonna make a Highland cow out of these, and we'll just see how it goes. I think it'll be really pretty. Plus this yarn texture is super nice, so it's going to be a breeze to work up, hopefully. Out of burnout blanket, the Highland cow snuggler is going to be huge. This guy right here I made out of Baby Bear, Cozy Cub, Posh Pearl. I think that's right. This guy, I used a 4.5mm hook, and you can see the size is a pretty good size for younger kids, I think, at least. But this will be a lot bigger, so I'm excited to see how much bigger, and I'll be able to give you all a comparison, which will be nice too for future reference. All the snuggler patterns are kind of similar sizes. At least that's what I'm attempting to do, so this will be a nice judge for future patterns as well. That is the update for now. I think I'm gonna do the Highland cow today, just so that it is ready to go before release day, and then once I finish this guy, then I will move on to the kitty, or maybe actually I think I'll work on both back and forth. That's the update for now. I'm gonna check in with you all in a little bit. I know this isn't specifically market prep related, but I am going to be bringing this stuff to market, so it'll all work out, but that's the update for now. Yesterday I started on my gray and white kitty. I was going to make it fully white, but taking photos on the surface was not a great idea. I didn't want to get any paper out or cloth or anything to change the background for the photos, so we're just going with a table and a gray color. So I ended up doing a couple different types of feet. So I have the plain one, the toes, and then the actual feet are white. So those will be included in the pattern, just like a suggestion for when you can color change. Of course, you can color change whenever you want, but you know, just a suggestion. I'm going to be using these blue eyes from Sweet Beans Crochet, one of the recent pairs I received. I kind of wish I had a lighter pair, but I still think this will be really pretty on a gray kitty. So that's the kitty update. And then I also did work on a Highland cow snuggler yesterday. I don't think I showed you any of it, but I did finish it. Let's just say I hyper-focused yesterday and finished it pretty quickly, but here it is. Look at how cute. I decided to go with these purple eyes again from Sweet Beans Crochet. Look at how perfect they match. the secondary color. I love it. I was kind of torn for the curls. I really wanted to use the variegated yarn, but I just kept it more consistent, I guess, and made the horns the second color instead. But this guy is huge. Let me put you on my camera stand and I'll show you both of them side by side. Here is the regular size Snuggler, right? And then here's the larger version out of Burnout Blanket. Here I have this one and then the smaller one. So this is why I've been making the Snuggler patterns out of Posh Pearl and yarn similar to that, because these bigger ones, as adorable as they are, I feel like they aren't as kid safe, just because, in my opinion at least, the actual weight of the plushie might be an issue. So that is why I decided to use Synchro Eyes on this though. Synchro Eyes I feel like are the safest out of all safety eyes. So these are still pretty safe, but this is much more suitable for a child who's a few years old. This is why I've been making them out of the smaller yarn type though, because I just think this one, as adorable as it is, if I made all of them in this size, I wouldn't really have any room on the table. Also, I'm not sure how well they would actually sell because this guy is going to be quite expensive, but he is so cute. I absolutely adore the way the color worked up together, all the colors, they're so pretty. As you can tell, I absolutely love it, hence why I've been rambling about it for a hot minute here, but I cannot wait to get some good photos with this guy for pattern release. He's just so cute. I'm so tempted to make all the Snugglers in Burnout Blanket just to have them, but at least now I know the size difference between the two. Plus, for anyone curious, I used an entire skein of Burnout Blanket. I had a little bit left over. So I think you could get away with just getting one for the main color and working up a Highland Cow Snuggler. This guy is so cute though, I love it. I feel like this is one of the best color combos I've come up with in a while, so I'm glad that it is absolutely perfect in all ways. That's my rambling update finished. I have to go work on that kitty for a little bit, and then I'm gonna switch up my projects, probably work on some more market prep for the Axolotls today, because I've been doing this thing where I walk on my treadmill at a slower pace and crochet at the same time. It takes some practice to get used to, but I actually really enjoy it to the point where I'm kind of craving the walk. It has to be a project that isn't too big. Like if I worked on this guy on the treadmill, my arms would fall off because you have to hold the whole project in your hands. When you're crocheting and sitting down, you can kind of set the project down in your lap or on a desk or something. I will check in with you all shortly. I'm probably going to end this video pretty quickly here because I think this is going to be a long one, so I should probably start editing as soon as I can. But that will be a tomorrow me issue to worry about. For now, I'm just going to get back to crocheting. Last night I managed to finish 4 out of 5 of the green axolotls, so I have 2 things I need to do today, at least, actually. The first thing is I need to finish these green axolotls, and I don't know why I said it's the first thing I need to do, because the first thing I need to do is actually work on the kitty pattern, because I want to finish taking pattern photos today. So this will be the first thing that I do, and then I'll also finish the last green axolotl today as well. I also have to work on the Highland cow pattern, because that will be released soon, but I think I'm going to leave that for tomorrow and just focus on the kitty today, get it finished, get pattern photos finished, and then we'll be done with the kitty. And obviously I have to compose the pattern and everything, but we'll do that later. But having the photos is the biggest thing, and that's what I need done. So that's what I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on the kitty, and then I'll work on the axolotl. As you can probably tell, I accomplished a lot in the last couple of weeks. Let's go through it together. So I ended up finishing the gray kitty. So here she is. Pattern photos have been taken, so this tester call will be up very shortly. So hopefully it will be up by the time this video is up. If not, it will be just a little bit more of a wait. You can find all my pattern tests on Instagram though, so feel free to check that out if you haven't already. I also made this black kitty, which I just think is the cutest cat I've made so far. Yes, it has fluffies all over it, but it just shows really well on black yarn. But this guy will get like a super roll before I actually take him anywhere. I also made a Bailey the unicorn, this cutie right here. And she was for a tutorial, super quick tutorial on joining limbs. Next thing I made was a Highland cow snuggler in burnout blanket, which is just the cutest thing ever. You know, sometimes I'm very tempted to keep stuff, and this is probably one of those. I won't be keeping it, but you know, the temptation is still there. Ugh, it's just so cute. I also crocheted a ton of axolotls, so they're in their own bag, because I needed some desk space back. I ended up crocheting 5 purple ones, 5 pink ones, 5 green ones, and 5 yellow and orange ones. So I did finish the green ones. I don't know if I updated you on them, but they are done. I was going to make the blue ones next, but I just decided to order some Naughty Pony yarn instead of trying to work with the Sweet Snuggles light I have. It's just the texture of it is terrible, and I don't want to make 5 axolotls in it. So I'm gonna wait for the Naughty Pony to get here. So I'll be making more blue axolotls in the next video. And then I also made 15 sea turtles. These are all of them, but you know, I made the cream ones with the orange shell, cream ones with the green shells, and then I also made the blue ones. So I finished quite a lot. All in all, I finished 39 plushies altogether in the last 2 weeks, so that's pretty awesome. For monetary value, I ended up making $1,155 worth of inventory, but the total running count for now is 555 items in my inventory, and then $16,379 worth of monetary value. And I feel like that is such a great number. So I'm happy that this week went well, or the last 2 weeks went really well in terms of market prep, and also with working on patterns, seeing as the kitty pattern is almost ready for testing, so that is a good. But that is all I have for you for now. I have to get editing. I know this video is probably going to be a long one, so it's going to be a lot to edit, but I'm sure you all will love it. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you did, why don't we leave a kitty emoji? Make sure to check out my coffee shop. I have a running discount code for 10% off for anyone watching to the end of my videos, and the code is single crochet in all caps. Thank you to everyone who's been using the code, but that is officially it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support, and I will see you in my next video, which is still undecided, but it will be something. And until then, bye!